This is a recording of Chapter 27, Ecce Romani, A Visit to the Races. Marcus, Sextus. It is in the vocative case, you can tell because the US has been replaced by the E. Today, hodie. It is allowed, present tense, licet, from licet, licere, an impersonal verb, which means that the subject is going to be an action, an infinitive, which you can see at the end of the sentence, ire. So it is permitted, dative case, nobis, for us today, hodie, to go to the chariot races, ludos circenses. Euclides, duquet, all the way at the end of the sentence. Duquet has a long E that's made short by the T, but nevertheless it's from duco, ducere, meaning that it is a third conjugation. Long E's and a third conjugation is future. So Euclides will lead, will take me, et te, and you, et Corneliam and Cornelia to the circus. There we have both a tricolon crescens and a polysyndeton, too many ets, individualizing them. Sextus then says, I love the chariot games, ludos circenses amo, sed none circus clausus erit, but surely the circus will be erit, which comes from sum esse in the future tense, ero, eris, erit, will be closed, clausus. Marcus then says, minime, leastly, circus non erit clausus, the circus will not be closed, for today, nam hodie, the cives omnes, all the citizens, feriati sunt, are feriati, celebrating a holiday. Via erunt, again, future tense of sum esse, ero, eris, erit. The roads will be pleni, full, hominum of men, genitive part of a whole. Viri mulieres liberi, circum celerime petent. Men, women, children will seek, again you ask the question on petent. It is a long E, made short by the NT, but it's from peto, petere, a third conjugation, so therefore it's future. Will seek the circus, celerime, very quickly. Celerime is not just quickly, but very quickly. Long E makes it an adverb. Here you have another tricolon crescens with viri, mulieres, and liberi, but it is with an asyndeton because all of them are grouped together. Sextus says, sed cur non nunc discedimus, but why do we not leave discedimus from discedo, discedere, to go away? Why do we not leave now? Ego sum iam paratus, I am now ready, I am now having been prepared. Paratus is the fourth principal part of a verb, paro, parare, paravi, paratus, and the fourth principal part is usually what is called a perfect passive participle and translated having been verbed, in this case having been prepared. I am having been prepared or ready. Marcus then says similac, as soon as Cornelia surrex erit. Surrex is a perfect stem with a future perfect ending erit. As soon as Cornelia will have risen out of her sleep, a somnos, statim ibimus, immediately we will go. So much of the boys discussed, Cornelia was rather late in waking up from her siesta, but soon they were all ready to leave. Euclides says, agite, drive on, jam tandem, now at last, tempus est, it is time, ire, to go to the circus. And again, ire here is the subject. Estisne parati pueri, are y'all, estisne, ready, boys? Are y'all having been prepared, boys? Perfect passive participle parati. Esne parata Cornelia, are you ready, Cornelia? Euclides take Cornelia and the boys quickly to the streets. They can now hear the noise of the circus crowds. Euclides says, Jam a circo, now, absumus, we are away, non procul, not far. So together, non procul absumus, we are not far away from the circus. None strepitum auditus, surely y'all hear the hubbub, the noise, strepitum. Ecce, look, omnes ad circum festinat, all are hurrying to the circus. Brevi tempore, in a short time, nos ipsi, we ourselves will enter intravimus. Ipsi here can mean, in a different context, ourselves, y'all selves, themselves, but because it is modifying the nos, which is we, it is then going to be ourselves. They enter the circus on the next page. Quam ingens est turba hominum, how huge is the crowd of men, hominum again, a genitive part of a whole. Totus circus, the whole circus, est plenus, is full, spectatorum, of spectators. Euclides chimes in. Ita vero, semper, so thus truly always many spectators are in the circus. Hic considemus, and again we have to look and see the long E, ask ourselves the question. It comes from the verb consido, considere, which means to sit down from a non-sitting position. Will, future with a long E, because it's third conjugation, considere. Will we sit down? Hic, here. Hic with a long I is here. Short I means this. Marcus says, anyway, Leasley, prope curriculum sedere necesse est. It is necessary, sedere, to sit down near the track, prope curriculum, quod, because ibi, there, we will be able. Pot erimus is nothing more than the verb sumesse with pot on the front of it. And erimus, then, is future. Ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, erunt. So we will be able, videre, to see omnia, all things. Omnia is the neuter plural, nominative or accusative. Here accusative because it's the direct object. Euclides then says, hot, but periculosum est, it is dangerous sedere, to sit near the track. Here now again we see the infinitive as the subject, sedere. And because it is periculosum, on the other side of the est, all linking verbs, all forms of sumesse act like an equal sign, and whatever's on one side has to be on the other. And because it is periculosum, and not periculosus, not periculosa, but periculosum, that tells me that sedere, the infinitive, has to be neuter. Pater wester, wester coming from wester, westra, westrum, an adjective that means y'all's is. Y'all's is dad, or correct English, your father, dixit, did say, perfect tense, many things, multa, which is neuter, plural, accusative, and substantize, meaning things, many things, de periculo, about danger. Marcus then says, nihil periculi est, there is nothing of danger, periculi, again another genitive part of a whole. For Titus, patruus meus, my uncle, he solet, soleo soleere, asked the question. It is a second conjugation here, soleere, so therefore it is going to be a present tense, is accustomed to sit near the track, prope curriculum, cum amicis, with his friends. Sextus then says, okay, look, Caesar ipse, Caesar himself has gotten up now. Yam has already arisen. Sorexit is a perfect tense, perfect stem, perfect ending, e isti it. Signum dare parat, he prepares to give the signal. Ego rusatis favebo, I, which you do not need the ego, but it is there for the emphasis, will favor the Reds, meaning the red teams. Favebo is from the verb, as you see at the bottom, faveo favere, that requires a dative object. It takes dative objects, and which is why then rusatis in the dative case. Marcus, ego albatis, you imply again the words favebo. I implied will favor the albatis, the whites. Cornelia then says, ego venatis, I, the blues, venatis. Marcus then says, eke, look, mappa, the napkin. Signum est, it is the signal. Cornelia then says, quam ferociter, how fiercely, because it has iter on the end of it. The word ferox means fierce, but when you put iter on the end of a third declension noun, or adjective, it becomes an adverb. How fiercely Ili aurigai, those charioteers beat the horses, werberant being a present verb. Erant is not the ending, it's werber as the present stem, a as the present vowel, and nt as the present ending. Quam celeriter, and an aphra here with a repetition of the word quam. How quickly they drive the horses, and again you see the iter as the adverb. Quam temerari sunt, how reckless they are. None mortem timit. Surely they fear death. And again with timit, I had to ask the question with the e that is there, and it is timeo, timere, a second conjugation, therefore present tense, they fear. Sextus says, eke, look, rusatus meus certe victor erit, my Red guy. Certainly. Besides an E tear, you can also, to a first and second declension adjective, add a long E, and thus it becomes the adverb certainly. My red guy certainly will be, again, erit, a future of the verb to be, the victor. For nam, he drives, agit in the present tense, present stem, vowel ending. The horses, equos, magna arte, ablative of manner, with, because of, from, in, on, at, great skill. Marcus then chimes in on the next page. Oh, my misorum, an accusative of exclamation. Oh, poor me. Auriga meus, my charioteer, turns aside diverted his horses. Here we get to see that auriga is a first declension noun, but it is masculine. You can tell because it's modified by meus. And thus the adjective has to have the same gender. Kawemetam, kawemetam. Be careful of the turning post, be careful of the turning post. And then he talks directly to him, which is an apostrophe. Apostrophe is the addressing of somebody or something that isn't there or cannot hear you. Esne semi somnus fatue? Are you half asleep? Stupid. Fatue is in the vocative, and we are substantizing the word to make it a noun. Kurmetam non vita visti. Why did isti you not avoid? Vita visti is you did avoid. So it's asking the question, why did you not avoid the turning post? Cornelius says, Ehu, alas, ille ariga. That charioteer is, or has, I should say, fallen cado cadere kikidi. Humi yaket, he lies, humi, on the ground. Esne mortuus, is he dead? Sextus chimes in, minime, leastly. Okay, look, animum recuperavit, perfect tense again, he has recovered his mind. Jam surgit, now he, present tense, rises. Adivistisne clamores horum spectatorum. Did y'all hear the clamores, the shouts, horum of these spectators? Magna voce, in a loud voice. Go all the way to the end. Semper clamant. They always shout the nomina, the names, aurigarum, of the charioteers and of the horses. Undique, on all sides. The strepitus, the noise is huge. Tantum strepitum, tantum comes from the word tantus, tanta, tantum, which means so much or so great. Ego numquam audivi, I never have heard, perfect tense, tantum, so great, a noise, strepitum. Marcus then chimes in. Rusati vicerunt, from Winco, Wincade, Wiki Victus. You can see at the bottom right there on page 251. Actually, it's in the middle of the page above the picture. So the Reds have won, said Mokes, but soon also, etiam, the Albati, the white teams, the white riders, will win. I know because I see the E on Wien Kent. I ask the question, is it second conjugation, is it third? I see right below that it is Wenco, Wencade, third, so it's future. Soon the white team, or the white riders, will win. Gloria albatorum, the glory of the white riders, those that are clothed in white, erit, will be, from sumese, immortalis, immortal. Euclides says, hoc fortasse accidit. Hoc, as you should know, is from hic, haec, hoc, so it's neuter, masculine, feminine, neuter across the chart. But if it's nominative neuter, it could also be accusative neuter. Here it's nominative because it's functioning as the subject of accidet. Accidet, you have to ask the question yet again because it has the long E. Accidet, or accidit, accidere, accidit. It is odd in which it always has a third person, but it is third conjugation, accidere, so it is future. This will happen perhaps. This will perhaps happen. Sed Caligula ipse, but Caligula himself, ut dicunt, as they say, amabant, loved Prasinos, the Greens, the Green Team. I have no idea why he brings that up, but nevertheless, he just points out that a former emperor of probably like 20 years ago in his time liked the Green Teams. Why in the world he brings that up, I had no idea. So on the final page, they watch a few more races, but it is not Marcus's lucky day. Euclides becomes a little anxious as it grows later. He had been caught before, once in a crush at the gates. Euclides says, Jam sero est. Now it is late. Nunc domum redebimus, from eo ire itus, with a red on the front, meaning not just to go, but to go back. So now it is late. Now we will go back home. Sextus then says, Non dum tempus est domum redire. It is not time yet. Non dum, not yet. It is not yet time. Domum redire, to go back home. Okay, look, aurigae, the charioteers, sumpserunt, perfect tense, have taken up the habenas, which are reins, et signum expectant, and they await the signal, the sign. And then, of course, Euclides says, Nisi mox discedemus. You must again ask the question with a long E. Discedo, discedere, it is third conjugation, edere. And so, therefore, soon, or I should say, unless, nisi, or if not, or except. But here, either if not or except, or I mean, unless we will depart soon, no folks. Turbam ingentem vitare non poterimus. Poterimus again is nothing more than the verb sum esse with pot on the front of it. We will not be able, the future of sum esse, ero, eris, erit, we will not be able, vitare, to avoid turbam ingentem, the huge crowd. Agite, drive on, domum, homeward, or to home, if you would like. So that is the translation for chapter 27, and quite an exciting time for the boys and Cornelia with Euclides.